I'm back. Yeah. So I definitely want to. I definitely think that would be so fucking fire if we figured out the day and month he was born. We got this. We got this. In 1636, he was styled knight and baronet, and 5 years after that time, he married Elizabeth, daughter of Sir Walter Covert, knight of Slanghin, Sussex. This lady was the mother of his children, and from her came the direct and collateral branches in New Jersey. Um, what that means there, the collateral branches in New Jersey, I don't know all the small details to it, but later on we'll figure out more. But it's kind of through the connections that he makes through his marriage with her. First of all, she comes from a prominent family. Um, Side note, when I first read this, I got so excited because like I saw Covert, but I was thinking Calvert, which is Lord Baltimore's that family, Baltimore, Maryland, all that jazz. Um, oh, I guess I never even told you that Major John Fenwick. I'm almost certain is my 12th great grandfather. So the fact that if he would have married someone from the Calvert family, that would have been fire. That just would have been fire. But that's not the case. And anywho, uh, she comes from a prominent family, so him marrying her one adds to his estate, like happened with his daddy, and two, he makes connections through the marriage with her, through who she knows, through or who her father probably knows. Society ran a little different with men and women at this time. We're talking about the 1600s. So anywho, uh, it's through those connections that he makes that kind of helps him, sends him down the route of getting to America. Um, I know I wrote notes. Let me see. Um, the family was of Saxon origin and formed a powerful clan in Northumberland. Their ancient fastness was in the Finneylands, Finneylands about Stamford Stamfordham. Yo, it's a motherfucker when you can't even read your own handwriting. God damn. Which I just said that right here. The family was of Saxon origin and formed a powerful clan in Northumberland. Their ancient fastness was in the Finneylands, about, and that's probably where like Fenwick comes from, because I think like all Fenwick means is like farmers of a particular area. Uh, Baronet is I wrote some notes about baronets, barons, and baronets. King James the First of England was a guy who wrote the Bible, or rewrote had the Bible, the Geneva Bible maybe rewritten, the King James version. You catch my drift. King James the First of England first created the title in 1611, um, which is interesting. I think 1611 is when the King James Bible came out, or maybe it was 1618. I don't know. Look that up for me, or not. I'll look it up later. I shouldn't ask anyone to do nothing for me. That's rude of me. I should be providing the information. Usually passed from father to son, so it was hereditary. Right? Is that still called hereditary when titles pass from generation to generation? Ranks below a baron but above a knight. King created the title to raise funds for the crown to finance the plantation of Ulster in Ireland. So yeah, that title he like basically gave a bunch of like wealthy families opportunity to buy social status, which in these times went a really long way, and then he used that money to fund bad things. I sh- I'm being silly. But basically, they were occupying another country, enslaving those folks who lived in that country, exploiting them, and you know how the story goes. So you call it what you will. I say bad. The family was of Saxon origin and formed a powerful clan in Northumberland. Their ancient fastness was in the fenny lands about Stamfordham, Stamfordham, a small town near the southern boundary of the shire before named. Northumberland is like just a pretty dope county, like historically speaking. Period. Because like this is the bordering county of like Scotland and England, and like over the course of all these wars and kingships and all that, like Scotland, Ireland, Wales, England, like they it all like went back and forth between like who was in control of who and who ran who and who had their own sovereignty and blah blah blah. And like in Northumberland, you have like very historical prominent families like the Percys and the Fenwicks, which it'll actually note in this book here the role that the Fenwicks played with the Percys, because a lot of the like original earls in Northumberland were all like the Percys and such, and uh, when like Scotland was on its own, is like these families in this area, the Northumberland area, was kind of like the buffer area where like they kind of like protected the border of England at different points. But at the same time, like a lot of the earls in from Northumberland all played roles in like when they wanted to overthrow the crown or whatever, they always had a hand in it. They were the ones who always went at the crown a lot of times throughout history, and a lot of times they paid for it as well. Um, but it just makes that place like super significant, and it is full of badasses, like legit badasses. Let's move on. Page 6. During the reign of Henry I in 1100, the head of the house was advanced by the king, and with various changes, it was prominent in England for several centuries. In Burke's valuable work on the extinct and dormant baronetcies, baronetcies, reference is made to this name with much reliable and interesting information. That's one of those earlier books that I mentioned a few minutes ago, that kind of like compiles data from over history, original source materials and stuff. Very interesting book. I never read those books like from cover to cover like we're doing this one or whatever, but it's definitely good to like rake through, like kind of comb through and get dates. They're so reliable, like, just to get the dates to kind of pan out our timeline. The clan was known as the Fierce Fenwicks and the Fearless Fenwicks. Their slogan or war cry was a Fenwick, a Fenwick, a Fenwick. With interesting spelling. The clan was the constant ally of the Percys. Um, Quick side note, just for my record, um, the Pierce family, which kind of belongs to like the Gould family. I kind of belong to the Pierce family. Um, all the Pierces, at least in South Jersey and New Jersey, um, all can trace their lineage back to two brothers, Richard and Anthony Pierce, who were their father was Captain Richard Pierce the third. Their mother was probably an indentured uh, she was from Barbados, which Robert, or not Robert, I keep saying fucking Robert. Richard Pierce, Captain Richard Pierce, most likely owned land in or plantation in. Barbados. I forget. Beijing? Beijing. What do you call people from Barbados? I'm sorry if that sounds so bad. What do you call people from Barbados? I think the native population calls it Beijing. Bajan, Beijins. I was kind of close. Or Barbadian. I don't. Uh, anyway, moving on. Moving on. Um, their mom. So chances are, since she was Beijing's, uh, chances are she was an indentured servant or she was a slave. Um, but anyway, that was their mother, and we'll get into all those weird politics later on. Um, and they ended up coming to Greenwich, New Jersey, sometime in the 1700s. Um, Anywho, Captain Richard Pierce the Third. If you keep tracing his lineage back, you can trace it back to the Percys, and that's why the last name is Pierce. It was just like over a course of time, Percy and the changing and of the spelling and the changing of the phonetics of it, as some families do sometimes. The further you branch out, over time, Percy became Pierce for that particular lineage. Um, so if all that to be true, and I never really went to the end of that rabbit hole, but it not only does my lineage go connect to the great Fenwick warriors of Northumberland, but maybe also the Percys too. So that's like super exciting for a history nerd. Um, but a lot of that has to be ironed out. Um, the clan was the constant ally of the Percys, attended them on all occasions, and known throughout the border as brave and faithful soldiers. The seat of the House of Percy was at Alnwick Castle in Northumberland, one of the most ancient and formidable in that region. Of the family, it has been said, not more famous in arms than distinguished for its alliances, the House of Percy stands preeminent for the number and rank of the families which are represented by the present Duke of Northumberland, whose banner consequently exhibits an assemblage of nearly 900 armorial ensigns. Oh, I'm fucking going down in flames here. Among which are those of King Henry the seventh of several younger branches of the blood royal of the sovereign houses of France, Castile, Leon, and Scotland, and of the ducal houses of Normandy and Brittany, forming a galaxy of heretic honors altogether unparalleled. The ducal seats include four castles: Alnwick, Warworth, Keldor, and Purdue, in Northumberland, Stanwich, and Warrington Parks. Lion House, and Northumberland House. If you are interested in looking at any of these castles, which we're gonna do for the Fenwick ones, there's like a website, Castle Finders. Let me just look it up. It's like Castle Finders or Castle Finders. Yeah, Castle Finders. And it had actually, this isn't the website, but this looks just as resourceful, right? Because you can go England, Wales, Scotland. Let's go England. Let's see. Alnwick was one of them. So there's that. That was the Percy's castle. That's pretty fucking big, actually. That's fire. That's so pretty. All right, lady. Flexing. Wow. That's a fucking pretty castle, man. That is a pretty ass castle. All right, let's see. Let's check out a couple of them other ones. Fuck it, why not? Warkworth. Let's see. Let's go to W. Warkworth. Look at this. Alright, let's check out Warrington Parks. Let's see. Nope, I don't see that one. Lion House and Northumberland House. I don't see Lion House. Maybe these are just castles. These are just the castles. Let me see if I notice anyone that. Nope. Alright, let me see if I find that one I was telling you about. Nope, that's not it. But there was another one anyway. that what was that it? Nah, hold on. There we go. This is the website. Castle Find. Isn't that the same website? Castle Finders? It's the same website. I don't know why one looks the way it does, but this is the one I have saved. Um, and there were, I forget why. This one shows towers too, which helps us out